Yeah, sound, let there be sound, yeah. Major reverb. Hold, please. Okay, hopefully reverb is gone. I have to turn the system sound off. Hello, do we have like lots of reverb? Reverb? You guys, does it still have reverb? I don't know, you guys are on delay and I got some super sweet headphones on. Is it working now? Do we have proper sound with headphones on? I don't know. Okay, now it's working. Good. Oh. Okay. Well, hold on. Internet! Maybe we got it. Maybe we got it. Maybe we don't. Oh, hey, look, the camera settings are all super weird. Whoa, camera settings are weird. Why is it oh, hey, yeah, whoa. All right, hold on. Hold on. What do I look like? There we go. For some reason the saturation went flying off the charts. And it was like zoomed in. Wait. Let's go like that. All right, let's leave it like that. Because it keeps the shrimp in there. Keeps the shrimp in there good. All right. I had to reset everything, so everything is reset now. I got to put it back to normal. Got to put everything back to normal. All right. Oh. Okay. Well, there we go. What's up with sometimes there's some technical difficulties when you're trying to do a live show, you guys. I mean, I don't know. I figure some people saying hit the like button again. You might as well, because this is crazy. It's haywire right now. So, what is up, everybody? It sounds like I got the sound on. First we started out with no sound. Then we got too much sound. And now we have, I don't know, maybe the right amount. Maybe we got the right amount of sound. I don't know. Hopefully we're operating well and people can hear me out there, and maybe we'll put together a good show now. We got a new feature here today. I didn't even change anything, but check this out. Oh, what up now? Who's a feisty bugger? It's me. I'm a feisty bugger. All right. So I was going to give a shout out to who was first in the chat, but since I had to reload everything, now my chat's all old. So I'm not 100% sure of who was new or who was first. I know it wasn't Frank though. Wherever Frank Dominguez is, we hope you're okay, but you didn't show up right away into the chat. I opened it up early today, maybe give people a little forewarning that we'd be coming in. We'd be coming in hot, apparently, with no sound. It's a new trick. And I've got my mic here. I've got it a little bit reconfigured, so I think I kind of like this a little bit better. I actually flipped it around. And maybe that's what ruined the sound. But all I did was unplug the mic and plug it back in and take 900 parts and put it back together the upside down. So, excuse me, I gotta itch my back. Hold on. Oh. All right, my arm's just long enough to pull that off. Okay. Well, happy Friday, everybody. Hopefully everyone out there in the hashtag Fish Fam is having a fantastic Friday. Hopefully everybody's staying hot and loose. We got a big Friday show here with probably one of the worst video segments I've ever put together. But you know what's cool is that at least we have it. We have a video segment. We have a new overlay, as you guys saw, because we're going to be able to answer some of the Patreon questions while also putting them up into the screen there. There's a whole bunch of people in the chat here today. I've got, currently it says 140 something. I don't know. It's jumping around quite a bit. Somebody said we were on live trending, which is cool. Hit the share. Send the share out there because this thing will actually be going for another hour and 45 minutes. So we actually have a bit of a long stream here. Those of you that may be new, this is a 2-hour long show where I ramble on about a bunch of nonsense. And, you know, sometimes I open the show with no sound. I'm not sure. I think some people hit the dislike button or something. I don't know. Whatever. That's life. Hopefully everybody's having a lot of fun. And we can at least make up for the first 10 minutes with no sound. But I had to restart everything. I don't know. Sometimes this happens, and today's been a bit of a hectic monster. And I was going to bring something in here, which I completely forgot. Did I completely forget? Yep, I completely forgot to bring it in here with me. So I'll just have to wave my hands around. Well, I've got different examples over there, but we got a bunch of cool stuff. And but I'm gonna say hi to a few of the people here. We got Candy Overhauls in the chat. What's up? Rob Hicks, Lord Getface, Joel G from New Zealand. He changed his name from Glass Boxes back to something more appropriate, like Joel. Beautiful name. It's a beautiful name out for my own heart, if you know what I'm saying. I'm glad to see you here, my man. Rumbust is here. We actually have a question from Rumbust we're going to be talking about today. Fish Girl from Connecticut, how you doing? Wet Sleeves, what's up? BC Fish Room in the house. Dank Tank, Swift Aquarium, Daryl Dimer, Sean Nebula, Magic 21 Mom, Melissa Coleman, The D. Thomas G. JH Aquatics, Recab Haras. Oh, right on. That's the first time I've read that name. Douglas Palmer, what's up? How you doing? John's Fish Lounge, Little Largemouth, Leon Ballantyne, Bobby Rosenbaum. Bobby Rosenbaum, I like that. Barbara Jackson, one of our big-time supporters, what's up? South Carolina Cichlids, D. Parsons, Famous Jones, what's up? Mr. Potato himself, Dan Squires, a couple of our moderators, watch out. Shelby Ray Lane is here, what's up? And sound is working, yep. Mary RNH2O Shrek, how you doing? I know she was early to the chat. I saw her early. Aquaman is here. And there's D. Parsons. We'll just say hi to D. Parsons again. Why not? LG3 Nation is here. Gaddis Aquatics, Jack Betts, the Zombie Drummer. Oh, Bobby Rosenbaum again. I'm going to say hi to you again. Why not? KPA Aquariums. Oleg Reshtov. What's up, my man? Jeremy Zielinski. 54 Punchy. Now we got some people. We got some doubling up here. We got doubling up. Oh, Turbofish. What's up, my man? I hope you like your painting. If you guys didn't know, I sent a painting out to Turbofish this week. Hopefully he digs it. And wherever Bert Shackelford is, wherever you are, I hope you guys got your painting and everything was good. I haven't heard from them. Maybe they thought it sucked and they don't want to associate with me anymore. I hope that's not the case. You know? People wondering where Frank Dominguez was. He was out getting busy turning off the mic. He figured out how to change the settings or something along those lines. And, you know, he's sneaky like that. You got to watch out when you got a dude living in your attic. Sometimes they tripping. Somebody's posting on something. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get that sorted out because I had to just reload the stream. Somebody's posting on the old soundless Soundless stream, apparently. And I don't know how to do anything about that. Hold on. Let me see if I can... Let's see if I can jump into the video manager here on the YouTube settings and delete that short one. I wonder if I can delete that or not. I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it there because I don't know what's going to happen if I delete that. So, some people say it's buffering or lagging. I don't know. I can't tell you. My end here seems everything says that it's going good. So we'll, I don't know. This thing says it's working good. Oh, I'm getting phone calls. Get out of here. I got to get that phone out of here. Throw that over there. A little bit weird. Yeah, so I don't know. Everything seems to be working now finally, but people are commenting on the this video that uploaded with no sound. So yeah. Okay. Joel Hernandez is here. What's up? How you doing? JW Collect. What's up? How you doing? If I missed anybody in the chat, oh, there's my guy. Caleb Overhauls is here. I see him. I see him in the chat. I see him right there coming in strong on a Friday. I dig it. Watch out. Surprises! You got to watch out. Caleb, what are you doing? What's happening? I heard something crazy today. You guys. Apparently, Fluval's tripping, and they didn't send me any, I gotta turn the focus thing off here. Okay. Well, let's apply that, because whenever I move my head around, the camera decides to get unfocused. How's it working now? There we go. So, I heard the hashtag Fluval tripping. I guess the Fluval Freshen Plant 3.0 is officially released, which means that now my fish room is completely out of date because I only have the Fluval Freshen Plant 2.0. Oh, drag. So now I'm going to have to figure out what I'm doing with my life because I'm going to have to order a whole bunch of lights that I can't afford. Hey, Fluval. Hey, Fluval. You wanna just take a little sidebar here for a second, Mr. Fluval? You tripping. But I'm glad to hear that those are actually released because they come with a lot of fanfare. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have been like, what's going on? What's happening with these? What's the deal? And I didn't know what the deal was. So, apparently they're out today. And somebody posted, I don't know where, somebody posted that Corey from Aquarium Co-op actually has them in. I guess they're in there, so hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one of those pretty soon and give it a test and, like, check it out and see what the deal is. You know what I mean? And see if it's like, if it's all it's cracked up to be, if it's better than the 2.0. I'd guess it's better than the 2.0, but I guess the Coop has them in, which is exciting because, you know, I do some interactions with the Coop on a fairly day-to-day kind of basis. So hopefully we'll be able to get to try one of those out, stress test it, run it over with my truck a couple times, throw it in some water, see what happens. Oh, and I'm like an idiot. I'm moving the chat on the screen. I got to move it over here on this thing. Gosh, you guys, I'm a little rusty today. I don't know. I did get a lot of people asking in the chat early on why there was no real fish talk yesterday. Well, there was no real fish talk yesterday because there wasn't one. A lot of people speculating as to why there wasn't one. But, oh, Recap Harass is saying, and it's the same price as the 2.0. That's what I'm tripping about. It's got Bluetooth. It's $6,500 instead of $7,500. I'm very excited. I want to try that. I want to try that light out. Honestly, I'm super excited. If it's as dope as I think it is, I want to try that light out. And I noticed that they started putting videos out. I noticed Fuzzy Fish just mentioned, everyone should post on Fluval on their new videos, Fluval tripping. I can't say to not do that, because if you want to do that, you can. I'm not saying that you absolutely had to or anything like that. I'm just saying it would be funny. Just so they would be like, what is this? You know what I mean? So, but that light, I was looking at all the technical parts of that light, and it seems to be awesome possum, neato mosquito. Might be a good description of it. I'm pretty stoked to get my hands on one and give it a try, because I said this in a couple of videos, the 2.0 is awesome and I really like it. But I definitely want to try out the 3.0. You know what I'm saying? There is a possibility that we might end up going to Germany, and if I don't get to try out their lights before I go to Germany, I'd be pissed. You know what I mean? What if we fly out there and tell them that Fluval's tripping? I think that'd be funny. Actually, there's a convention out in Germany, and we're just kind of joking about possibly going out to that or whatnot. As you guys know from the Real Fish Talk, Corey and I were talking about possibly going to Peru this year, because I know Corey is going. Corey is going to Peru this year, which is super exciting. I know that Vicky and I want to try to go. We're going to see if we can try to go or whatnot. That's really just going to boil down to, like, can I afford a plane ticket or not to go out there and shoot video, that kind of stuff. So if we can afford it, then I'm definitely go out there, shoot as much video as I can, try to catch a fish, bring it back. I don't know if I could bring a fish back or not, but might be cool. Jack Betts is talking about the 3.0 light. Features are programmable, gradual 24-hour light cycle settings. Includes optional preset habitat light configurations. Oh yeah, you can turn the configurations around. It's 6500K. I don't know. It just looks like a super cool light. I'd like to try it out, but it would be pretty darnably cool. What's that word I'm looking for? Darnably? Sounds like it's pretty cool. But I'd like to address some of the questions from the, what's the word? From the Real Fish Talk, that there wasn't a Real Fish Talk yesterday. Now, one of the main reasons why there wasn't a Real Fish Talk yesterday is because Corey and I will be in Portland, Oregon on Sunday at the Greater Portland Aquarium Society, so the GPAS, I think, maybe? Or the Greater Oregon or something? I don't know. I don't really know about, I don't really know 100% about the name of the club. I'll have a better memory for it once I've actually been there and met some of the people, so, you know. I'll check that box off once I've been there and be like, yeah, I know what it is. I'm not just talking about that one time that I knew a thing with a thing. You know what I mean? I'll try to move this light around over here because there's a shadow behind me. Check this out. We'll put the spotlight over there. Okay. Now, it doesn't look good. You can see my shadow moving around. That's not good. You guys, that's not good lighting. That's not good lighting, you guys. So the Greater Portland Aquarium Society is where we'll be at on Sunday. We'll actually physically be there. So if you want to see a talk from Corey, if you want to meet the Real Fish Talk guys, if you want to meet Corvus, me, Joel, whatever you want to call me, I know that my YouTube handle is confusing to people, my YouTube name, but it is what it is. I've considered changing it, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right at this point to change it. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right. But we will be at the Greater Portland Aquarium Society meeting. Corey's going to do a talk. He's going to do, what do you call it? Fish demonstration? Presentation. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. He's going to be doing a presentation on guppies, which I think would be super fun. And you can meet us in person and would do probably like an impromptu real fish talk while we stand around, right? And be like, oh, hey, you like fish? Oh, I like fish. Yeah, man, I like fish too. I painted fish. I painted shrimp. I don't know. I do whatever I do. And so that will be pretty cool. And so we're going to actually be doing that. So there's no real fish talk because we'll be in person today. I believe in the meantime, if we don't have a guest, we're actually only going to do one episode a week, I think, unless we get some good guests coming in. And some people were wondering, like, what's the deal, man? What are you guys doing? The real fish talk isn't going anywhere. We're going to keep doing it. And, you know, not to throw the burden on anybody else or anything like that. We do have like 12,000 subscribers on there, which is fantastic. You know, and we're just slow. We're just kind of slowly growing the thing. You know, if, you know, it's one of those things, like if we started doing it and all of a sudden we had like 1 million subscribers, maybe we'd do 2 a week, no matter what. But if we like don't have a guest, it's kind of like we end up just getting a ton of comments from people like, "Oh, this isn't what I tuned in for," you know. So, you know, there is a part where it's like maybe we're reacting a little bit to the fans or whatever, but we're also we're kind of doing a show to an audience, you know. And if the audience is booing or whatever, then we don't exactly want to be like doing that. You know what I mean? Because we're not the villains. We're supposed to be the not villains. We're supposed to be the protagonists, right? So we're just gonna try and do one. If it's just Corey and I goofing around, we're gonna try and just do one. And then if we have like big guests and stuff like that, we'll do 2. Hopefully that clears up a little bit, right? Hopefully that clears up a little bit, because one of the things that we were talking about was, if we're stuck on the Tuesday-Thursday schedule all of the time, what if a guest comes in on a Saturday and they're like, I can only do Saturday? Like, let's say Takahashi Amano flew in and was like, I could only be on Saturday. So it's going to actually kind of open up... we could actually open up a little bit of the schedule to make sure that we can accommodate some of the guests and stuff like that coming in. So that was kind of the big deal. So we will do one show that's just Corey and I goofing around and being ridiculous and answering questions and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, we're just going to do one of those, and then if we have a guest come in, then we'll do the second show. So hopefully that kind of clears it up for people. Then and kind of makes some sense. I know that we have some really cool guests coming up that we're going to probably, you know, get in depth with and talk to them quite a bit. Candy Overhauls, I was kind of making a joke about Takahashi Amano because he's actually passed away. So if a crazy ghost comes in, I'll definitely do a show if there's a crazy ghost in here, because maybe that's the ghost back there backing me up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was actually kind of a joke that Takahashi Amano was going to come because he has passed away. So, much respect to him. One of my favorite guys of all time, mainly because he was one of the dudes that did all the photography and stuff like that. That really brought in back when the internet didn't work very well and you could only really like kind of just click through like really crappy websites. When you click through really crappy websites back in the day, you could pretty much just like only look at pictures. You couldn't like stream video or anything like that. So he was one of those guys that I really was like, wow, this dude is doing so much awesome stuff, because he had like so many years of photos like compiled up that I was because that was his main thing. His main thing was photography. That was his deal. So yeah, mad respect to him, mad respect to his family and everybody, to not make a joke of somebody who's passed away or anything like that. But It was kind of a joke about whoever the guest was. Let's see. Joel Hernandez was saying, dang, I listen to those while I drive. Yeah, we'll keep doing those podcasts and stuff. Like I said, we're trying to schedule out the guests and people that we really want to talk to and people we want to get in depth with. I mean, Corey and I could, I'm on here 6 hours a week. Corey does a lot of videos and does some live streams, not to mention like he has extra channels and stuff like that. So there's a lot of access to me yammering on, talking about stuff. And and there's also a lot of access to Corey talking about stuff and kind of yammering on or whatever, same way that I do. But there's a lot of access to us. And we'll keep doing the individual show of us just kind of goofing around. But we'll add in the extra show when we have a guest come in. And, like when we did Tazawa Tanks, it actually just worked out kind of perfectly that he was able to do the real fish talk at the right time. And we were like, oh, perfect. Yeah. And then we started to realize, like, wait a minute, that's not going to be the normal thing. It's not going to be the normal thing that somebody's able to just come in at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, you know what I mean? Like, and have that schedule work for like every person that's coming into town, So, that's kind of why we're just kind of changing a little bit, and we don't want to just keep doing the same show over and over and over again, even though, so if it was just the two of us all the time, just like, talking about eating chocolate and drinking coffee and eating, how many Reese's peanut butter cups did you eat today? Right? Matt Weber's here. Weber is never here. He's one of our longtime guys. I actually have some videos. Went to his house out in Michigan a long time ago, a couple years ago. Gonna make it out there sometime soon again. Debbie Swan says, plus you have to drive a long way to do real fish talk. Is it not possible for you to do it from home? Yeah, we can do it remotely, and as a lot of people that have been following the show here for a long time, we did some remotely, and we actually did a bunch of infrastructure stuff here and a bunch of infrastructure stuff up at Corey's house to make that possible. And in our honest opinion, it just wasn't as good. It just wasn't as good when you're not in the same room. You know what I mean? So that's one of the big reasons that it was like, you know what, I'm just going to have to drive up there, or Corey's going to have to come down here. And either way, it's a lot of time to do that, because most people are like, oh, the show's only 2 hours long, but it's a 6, 7, 8 hour commitment for me to drive all the way up there, do the show, do whatever else up there, film some stuff, then like drive all the way back down. So it definitely does eat the whole day, one way or another. So, but we do have a bunch of super chats here to get to. So, I'm going to get to those real quick, cause they're starting to pile up, and I don't want to get so far behind on the super chats. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's some of them missing from my thing here. I think some of them are missing. We've got a $1 super chat from Potato, up into that tip jar. You know what I'm saying? Then we also had, oh wait, my chat is lagging behind. We also got a $5 super chat from Potato. It says, see, I did the green. Someone try the yellow to see if it's working today. Oh, I see what Potato was doing. He's dropping the, hey man, can anybody make the violet colored super chat? Well, thanks, Potato. Hopefully we'll be able to see Potato on Sunday, because he's in the greater Portland area. So hopefully we'll see him there, and we'll be able to talk about some fish and have a good time. I can't wait to eat some big meals. You know what I mean? Go out of town, you get the opportunity to eat some big meals. Rumbust with the 50 Swedish krones super chat. says, was going to go to bed soon, but now you're teasing me with answering some questions of mine. Guess I better stay up for a bit. I don't know that I'm teasing you. Am I teasing you? I guess it is maybe kind of a teaser, I guess. But if you did put questions up on the community tab on Patreon this last week, then we will, what's the word? Answer them. That's what we'll do. If you have them up on the Patreon, we'll get to answering those. And yeah. So hopefully that answers your super chat. Megan Ness with the $5 super chat says, help! Have about 30 ram cichlid eggs. Haven't hatched yet and don't know next steps for raising them. All I have right now is brine hatching. Ooh. Well, if you got ram cichlid eggs, that means that your rams are breeding, and they're actually pretty good parents. So they'll actually, well, I mean, more often than not, they're pretty good parents. So they'll keep them protected, won't allow any other buggers to come over there and eat them. If you want to aggressively raise them, like if you really, really, really want these eggs to hatch and you really want to raise these babies, there are a few things that you can do. One of the easiest things to do would be to get a 5-gallon aquarium, set it up, get it cycled, and then just put a light on it 24 hours a day until you get green water in it. Then you'll be able to move the eggs over there, but this is something that you would have had to do ahead of time, right? So you do have to kind of take into consideration, like, if this is something that you really want to do, you want to have like a breeding project, you are going to set up some other stuff ahead of time so that you're ready to do it. But if the situation is that you just have them in an existing tank right now, they'll protect the eggs pretty well, and they will generally hatch. They will generally hatch out. If you got a male and a female, that should be fertilized, should be good to go, and they should hatch out. Now, depending on the other occupants in the tank, you might want to take some predatorial type fish out of there because they'll probably eat the fry or anything like that. But if they did get to the point where they're breeding, generally there's enough stuff in the aquarium that they could probably feed off of and get through. As long as you get some fine flake food. If you don't have any fine flake food, then you could actually take you could actually boil some chicken eggs and take the yolk out, right? And then mix up just tiny little chunks of the yolk with a little bit of water until it kind of makes like a little bit of a trying to think of what the consistency is. Maybe like a really watery slurry. And you can use an eyedropper to add like little bits of that to the aquarium. That's an easy way to try to feed them a little bit. And then just get some really fine fry food would be the easiest ways to do it. But if it was something that you really wanted to get into and it's something that you really wanted to breed out, I would set up a 5-gallon aquarium, get it cycled, get the green water going in it, and then move the eggs over to that in the future if you can, and then you'll be all like ready to go next time that they lay eggs and stuff like that. If this is the first time that they've laid eggs, chances of getting a lot of fry out of it are going to be pretty low. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. Like the first time any creature breeds, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different with people, but it is a little bit different with people because if people breed at a young age and then they have one baby, well, hey, success. It's a little bit different with animals and stuff like that, like the pigs. The first time the pigs bred, they only had like 6 piglets. It's not a lot. It's normally like 20, 18. So and with fish, like normally the first time they lay eggs and stuff like that, the success rate is pretty low. So I wouldn't get too depressed if you don't get a ton of fish out of the first time they bred. Chicken Lips 2 with the 555 super chat. I love the Chicken Lips 2. I love the Chicken Lips 2 name and avatar because it is a chicken. It's a fine looking chicken. 'Tis a fine looking chicken. Looks like maybe a barred rock female, something like that. with the 555 super chat. More cam clams is the comment on there. I don't know if that's a question. Is it? Is it a question? Could just be a statement. More cam clams. Cam clams. I don't know. I'm not 100%. But thank you very much, Chicken Lips. Yeah. It's sort of like Chicken Apocalypse. Jeff Rose Fish Keeping with the $5 super chat. Took guppies, or he said he took guppy grass to his local fish store. He texted me last night. He sold it all and wants more. He also said it had a shrimp in it, and he sold it too and wants more. So he sold the guppy grass and the shrimp. That's pretty baller. I've got a ton of guppy grass, so if your local fish store wants some guppy grass, there's probably some shrimp in it too. So if your local store wants to buy some guppy grass from me, let them know. I don't know where Jeff Rose is. Maybe Jeff Rose is not in the area, and that won't work. But I wish a local store would buy all my guppy grass. I got way too much of it. D. Parson says, poop makes me coffee. Let's see. Somewhere on the first show you started, remotely is cool, but it's way better watching the interaction in the Maboo studios. Yes, I have to agree with that. It's much better to be in the studio working together. Let's see here. Yeah, Weber's got to come out. Yeah, Matt Weber's got to come out to my place sometime soon. Cam clams. Clams for the camera fund. Oh, all right. I dig it. Thank you very much, Chicken Lips. That's a super chat action for the new camera. Oh, the zombie drummer goes, 5 more clams for your cams. What up, Chicken Lips 2? Well, it turns out the yellow super chat is working today. Thank you very much. The zombie drummer, always being very supportive. Anybody out there that's super confused with what they're talking about, I am saving my clams big time for the new camera. Basically, trying to move up from my crop sensor camera up to a full frame sensor camera because I have some way bigger projects to shoot this summer. So I'm kind of just hammering away, selling my kidneys, doing whatever I can to get a new camera. And I think I'm about a third of the way there. I did some laborious projects and saved a couple bucks, and I think I'm about a third of the way there. I'd have to double check. I just like to think I'm a third of the way there because I probably didn't consider in the sales tax or anything like that, which would probably put it maybe a quarter of the way. But I'll get there. And in the meantime, we do have the new boom arm coming in today, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm pretty excited for the new jib arm that is coming in. I bet you it's going to come in during the show, and the dogs are going to freak out and stuff like that. But luckily, unluckily, Vicky Toria is here today, you guys. A little bit of the what's the word? A little bit of intrigue today, because this morning I found a problem in my fish room, and I think it has to do with making videos. I wasted a whole 20-pound bottle of CO2. I wasted a whole 20-pound bottle of CO2 because I think when I was shooting the video, I didn't cheese down on the washer like I normally do, which is I normally just reef on that thing like a maniac and get it super, super tight. And I think I was shooting the video at the time, and I think I tightened it down tight and was like, yep, that's good enough. And nope. I didn't put it down tight enough, so my CO2 was completely empty. So I had to go get CO2s filled this morning. Then today was the last day of a big art supply sale, which I do have to, as you guys can probably tell in the background here, I do have to make sure that I have the proper art supplies in order to, continue a lot of my work, which is making all these crazy paintings and stuff like that. And, considering most paintbrushes like this one right here, like a good quality brush like this, normally costs like $9 to $10. They were like $1.50. So I had to go pick those up. Plus I needed some more, gel gloss and a couple other things from the art supply store. So I had to do that. Then I had to do some other errands, which don't really apply to anything. Doesn't really matter. And then Victoria has been really not feeling well, so I went to get her. I brought her home. Then I had to go get a new aquarium heater because my heater was broken. And the first store I went to didn't carry them, so then I had to go to another store, and I had to do this, and I had to do that. Then we had to go get chicken feed. There was a lot of stuff that had to go on the runaround this morning. So we had to get all that stuff done. And so I got all that stuff done. Then Vicky's been here. I've been trying to take care of her as best I can. We got her some chicken soup. We got her some juice. We got her some other stuff. So that's going good. But that just really occupied the time today, which is why the video segment probably kind of sucks. Joel Hernandez with the $2 super chat for the trip towards Peru. Thank you very much, my man. I certainly appreciate it. Joel says the studio burnt down. No, the studio didn't burn down. Everything was going good. Let's see. Award Aquariums asking me, what happened to RFT yesterday? Sorry if I already addressed this. I did address it earlier, and it's kind of long, so I don't really want to get super redundant in the show. So if anybody's wondering what happened to Real Fish Talk yesterday, then on the once this uploads, you'll be able to go back, or you may have to just rewind and go back. Savannah Morrow says, I love Blick's Art Supply and Craft Warehouse. That is a cool place. I found a really cool art supply. Okay, I didn't find it. Vicky found a new art supply store down here that was a lot like a better version of Daniel Smith. So I'm pretty stoked. I went there today. They carry almost everything that I use except for the liquid paint that I typically use, the high flow paint that I normally use. They only carry in the tiny bottles, which kind of sucks because I paint a lot, and that's not going to be great. Who was asking? There's no one paying $300 for shrimp. That's true. A lot of people will list super expensive shrimp, but they don't. They never sell. JH Aquatic says, I have a DIY jib boom I made out of PVC. It hangs over my desk in my living room studio. Yeah, I actually got a new jib that's coming today because I think I was telling the story of my tripod. I dropped a giant saw on my other tripod as I was pulling it down from the overhead area, and it broke two of the legs off. And I thought I was going to be able to fix it, but that wasn't going to be the case because it was made out of some kind of inferior plastic nonsense, and there was no welding it back together or making new pins for it or any of that stuff. Essentially, all of the plastic shattered. So I was like, I have to get a new tripod because my backup one is super short. So if I'm ever going to get an overhead shot, it's never going to work. But on the upside, Vicky's company moved locations, so I actually have this giant tripod that's super big, right? And I rarely ever use it on too much stuff because it's huge. It's gigantic. Even when it's folded down into its, like, you could carry this thing. I mean, it's probably like 30 pounds. But we got it for free. So it's going to be like a perfect thing if I put a big jib arm on it. Then I'm probably going to be able to get shots at like 11 feet up in the air coming down. So Okay, maybe 9 feet. 9 feet sounds 9 feet sounds more reasonable. That would be able to deal with. Savannah says Michaels is always in disarray and can't stand going in there. Very true. And Barbara says, yeah, Michaels is pretty much just crafts. Yeah, Michaels, if you're trying to go for art supplies and stuff like that at Michaels, they have craft supplies. They don't have art supplies. They certainly don't have professional paintbrushes or paints or any of that kind of stuff. They're more of a craft store. So if you're looking for like plastic ivy or wicker baskets or any of that kind of stuff, they do have a bunch of stuff there. So, but Michael's is just never a great stop for me because I always just get super frustrated. JH Aquatics, where did I buy the jib arm? Amazon, of course. You know what I'm talking about. That's how I roll. Who is asking? I got to scroll up the chat here. Where did it go? Where did it go? Somebody was asking. Oh, where did it go? Oh, Donald's Fish Vibe Ed. Corvus, are you talking about a second camera? It seems like you've been saving for this camera ever since I've been following you for months now. Yes, I have been saving for a second camera. My secondary camera right now is the M2, right? Which is this hot pink little bugger right here. Oh, but it only picks it doesn't pick up the frame rate that my 80D does. And if anybody's wondering, you know, like, well, you have an 80D, I don't understand why you need another camera. The 80D is actually a crop censored camera, so I actually need a larger. I need to go a full frame camera for a project this summer, so I'm actually saving up for that. And if I was going to buy another secondary camera, one of the big reasons is that this one will only grab a 1080p at 30 frames a second reliably. And you know, my 1080 will grab 60 frames a second. So one of the big problems is that I either need to downgrade the footage from my 1080 to 30 frames a second, right? And then re-render everything so that I can render it together with stuff from the M2, right? Or, you know, just work on getting another camera so I can shoot at the same frame rates and all that kind of stuff. Because even with the crop sensor, because the 80D will shoot the quality film that I need, I could still stack those together and it not be that big of a deal, and it work out fine. But in reality sense, like, I just need to get the bigger camera so that hopefully I can do a big project this summer that needs to happen. So yes, it's the same camera I've been saving for, and that's realistically, like, because it's going to be really important, especially this summer or late spring or something like that. So I have about like 3 or 4 months to get there, but you know, I just got to put the hammer down and, like, you know, scrounge it together and figure out what I got to do, you know, and make it happen. DMC of the Seas asking what new camera are you looking to get? Well, if you guys look through my wish list, one of them is in reality on there. So hold on. So the Canon 6D Mark II is probably going to be the best camera for what for realistically what I'm going to be doing. So, you know, that thing retails at right about $2,000. I put the Canon 1DX Mark II on there kind of as a joke. People are asking me, like, you know, because like even the current list price on it is like $5,500 for that camera. But the reason I put it in there, which, yes, it's a joke, and then B, I mean, what if Jeff Bezos is a huge fan and he's like, I'll buy this guy a camera? Oh, well, you know, he just wants a point and shoot camera or something. So I put that one in there just in case Jeff Bezos watches this, or maybe Paul Allen. I don't know. Maybe one of those guys. I don't expect anyone to actually order that. So I know that there's been a lot of people out there that are like, oh man, you just like some douche that wants people to order stuff for you or whatever. And I'm like, dude, no, that's not the case. But people asked for a list, so I made a list. And yes, I put some lofty stuff in there, but no, I don't expect it to actually be ordered. The craziest thing that ever happened was Cute Nix bought the monitor that doesn't give me migraines that I do this show on, which is wild and super awesome. And not to mention Steven Skoglund, wherever he is, I haven't seen him in the chat today that I recall, but Steven Skoglund helped out and sent out some more of the Google Wi-Fi pods, so I'd be able to do some live streams from the fish room out there, because I've been slowly expanding the Wi-Fi here to get full coverage, and then be able to broadcast from out there if I need to do. And I also have some building projects that are going to be going on in the fish room out there, so hopefully I'll be able to do some of the podcasts from out there and stuff like that. Martin Dooms is here asking, why don't you put this out in podcast? I love the Real Fish Talk podcast, like addicted. Would be awesome to have your episodes on podcast. Anyway, thanks for the awesome content. I am currently, so a couple of people in the chat right here, I don't want to point them out to anybody because I don't know if they want to be known or whatnot. A couple of people in the chat today, we are actually working on ripping all of these episodes down and putting them up as a podcast. That's a lot of work because, as you guys can see from the title here, this is episode 600 whatever. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of nonsense. We have to go through the ones... Oh, excuse me. I had a burp there. Weird. But we have to go through all the ones, whether or not they're going to be good for a podcast. We need to have a full description on them. We also need to have like thumbnails for each episode, numbers for each episode, all that kind of stuff. So everything is getting ripped down. We're working on it, and hopefully all these episodes will be up. My goal is to have them up by the end of the month. So we'll be able to just, hey, it's March 1st. It's all up there. Check it out. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So, Donald's Fish Vibe says, if I'm paying $2,000 USD for a camera, I'd be doing human picture paintings. Well, as you guys know, I do a lot of photography and some videography. I don't know. I put some of it up on YouTube. One of the big deals is trying to get everything shot, edited, and all that kind of stuff up on the internet can be extremely time consuming at some points, and a little bit crazy to try and get everything done, but I'm doing the best that I can, and hopefully we'll get hopefully we'll get to a more consistent schedule. I'll be able to have edited videos coming up all of the time. We got a couple super chats here to grab. One $5 super chat from the D. Thomas CG. I missed the C in there earlier. But the D. Thomas, what's up? Says, listen to episode 654 today, and I'm wondering what the best way to support you and Corey is so you get the best bang for your buck. 45%? YouTube is tripping. Yeah, that's one of those things that it's like kind of a closely guarded secret from YouTube, is that they take 45% off the top. That's just what they do, whether it's a super chat, whether it's a commercial sale, or any of that kind of stuff. So as you guys know, I have the minimal amount of advertising running on this show so as to not get screwed by the algorithm. Like, the robots are the ones that decide whether or not a video is going to get shared around, if you'll be on like live trending or anything. Some people said we were on live trending earlier, and which I don't think sounds legit, because we're only at like 191 people. I think you have to get over 1,000 to get on the live trending, but it's possible. Maybe it's like a really weird time and no one else is streaming, I guess, or something. I don't know. But Yeah, YouTube takes 45%, and you pay taxes on everything else. So none of your taxes is included in the 45% that they take. So kind of a drag, but that's the way it is. You know, this is a great platform. I love being on YouTube, and not to mention like the community here is awesome. As JH was saying, like. So I should be getting close to 10,000 subscribers in less than a month. I hope so. My big goal is to get to 10,000. To get to 10,000 subscribers took me about 10 years. So I'm getting about 1,000 subscribers a year. So it would be cool if you're not subscribed to click the thing, hit the share, or whatever, any of that kind of stuff. Somebody was asking me a while ago, like. To try and address more of this question, the best way to support me and Corey. One of the best ways to support this channel, me personally, is to share this out. I've been working on with my moderators, like explaining the best way to share things out, like on Facebook, is you do a screen grab of the thumbnail, right? Then you post a picture onto Facebook. Then you write above it like, hey, here's the thing I really like, and include a link in it, right? There's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's so many things, so many places that things could be shared out on. That's one of the biggest and best ways that fans can support realistically like any YouTuber or any creator or any podcaster or anything like that. So that's one of the best ways. Another one of the ways that you can support is through Patreon. If you go to Patreon, you can check it out. It's a monthly. It's basically like a monthly throw some money in the tip jar kind of situation. You can go up to $100 billion or $1 a month. It gets taken out on the first, and it's a pretty simple way with some pretty cool return because there's a community there and all that kind of stuff. So if it's something that you want to support, like I was listening to the H3H3 podcast, and they were talking about how much how big of a deal the Patreon was for them, and agreed. The Patreon is a huge deal for me, and I'm eternally grateful for all the people that have been supporting doing the show and doing this show and putting all this stuff together. So that would probably answer that question. I got a $5 super. We got a $5 super chat here from 54 Punchy. 54 Punchy, Miss Pamela Early Wine. Have you ever ordered from Rosemary's Brushes out of England? I love their brushes and not outrageously priced. I never have, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and look that up. Then I'm going to check it out. Hey guys, I'm just looking at stuff while on doing the show here. Well, I will check it out. I will check out Rosemary's Brushes, and I'll see what's up. Although, looking at their initial prices right now, they're actually worse than the local store because they were saying this is £5, so that's $10. Let me see. Oh, maybe you get 5. No, hold on. I'm going to check something out here. I'm going to add one. How much is that? Add it to, whoops, wrong mouse. Add to cart. Oh, I have to select handle length. Let's just go with that one. All right, let's see. Added to cart. Where's my cart? Oh, yeah, see? So there's a standard angle shader that I would typically use, £5.95. So that's like $12. That's a little high. I try to stay in the $4 range, unless we're talking about squirrel hair brushes like these. Like here's a squirrel hair brush right here, which is the only thing I can use with like Top Shot and stuff like that. If I'm doing like sign painting, sign lettering and stuff like that, then I'll go much higher on a squirrel hair brush, but anything else like that, and that I won't. Who? Oh, weird. Deleted. Yep. Sometimes people are weird, man. We're on the internet here. I wish I could tell you all the you know, all the instances that I have to deal with, like all sorts of weird, crazy people. Some of them I legally can't tell you about. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that works out, though. In the meantime, we got all of our super chats. We got all that handled. So now we got to, hold on, I got to move this thing over here. Then we go, where's the thing? Okay, I have to go to, which window? This window. Oh, great. Now my chat's missing. And right there. Oh, perfect. I think I got it set up right. Maybe not. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I have to move these tabs around because I had to reset everything. I had it all set up like super smooth. Like a smoothster. Like a something. I don't know. But there we go. All right, here we go. Window region. There we go. All right, so our first little deal here is from... All right, this still isn't working. I got to move this right there. Some people are asking, yes, is that squirrel hair? Yes, it actually is squirrel hair. So they're, as far as I know, humanely dealt with and stuff. I know it's kind of sad, but more often than not, I use synthetic, which is like this. I use the golden synthetic almost all the time, unless I'm doing sign painting. There just really isn't anything better than the squirrel hair, you know, which is sad, but them's the reality. The first little bit here is from Travis Boyette, and that's his Bumblebee Gobies, which I'm not super jealous, you guys. I'm not super jealous, but I'm a little bit jealous. I don't have a Bumblebee Goby setup anymore, but I think I'm going to make up for that with getting some Panda Garas fairly soon. So that's my next big target fish. And just a shout out, I just wanted to say thanks, Travis, for sharing that. Then Travis also shared his ram's horns and some of his shrimps here, right? Totally awesome. I'm just giving you guys kind of a rundown of some of the stuff on the community page here, and then I'll be answering some of the questions as we get to them on the community page. Travis also has this really cool tank right here set up. A lot of cool Anubias, a lot of cool rock work, not to mention the lilies and whatnot in there. Totally cool. Sharon Trammell with the question, hey Joel, I need advice on finding the correct weight-bearing aquarium stand for a used 240-gallon aquarium I might buy. Now, one of the easiest things to do would be to find a 240-gallon aquarium or stand and just find it. It's going to be pretty difficult to find something that's rated for it that isn't, if you're not like a huge construction kind of person or anything like that, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to find something that is going to accommodate exactly what you want. With the load-bearing factor is going to be a big-time problem. Oh, hold on. Okay, I got to set this brush down. I got to pick up a cheaper one if I'm going to fiddle with it. Sorry. But to find a stand that is just a thing that you want to use as a stand, it's going to take a fair bit of kind of looking around and figuring out some of the load-bearing potential of what you're trying to get all together. My biggest advice would be to find somebody who is locally doing either stand builds or maybe fish tank stuff, like as Corey and I are going to the greater Portland Aquarium Society thing on Sunday, there'd probably be a whole bunch of people there that would be like, yeah, that guy makes stands, or, oh, hey, let's put a shout out and see if anybody has an 8-foot stand that could fit a 240 on it, and grab something like that. You could always resurface and refinish an old one and make it look new or repaint it. You could find somebody local like me that could come out and repaint the thing for you, or you could like drop it off at their shop. Then you'd be totally jamming on kind of a brand new deal. If you want to build a new one, then it just comes down to getting some plywood, getting some 2x4s, and just building the thing as sturdy as you can. I see a lot of people out there that go way overkill on their stand building. So I do have some old stand building videos out there, but they're not really that fantastic about a walkthrough, but you can get a good idea about how I build mine, which would probably be, I wouldn't say necessarily the easiest way, but fairly darn easy, and also pretty cheap, because that's for the longest time I was just trying to figure out the cheapest, simplest, and lightest way to build a stand. So maybe you can check out some of those videos, or I'm sure there's a lot of DIY stand builds if that's what you're looking for. Mallow Moogle was asking, have you heard about Wabikusa? If so, what are your thoughts? Well, we definitely went through Wabikusa on the Real Fish Talk. I know a lot of people posted up for her that, because she did ask in a different spot, like on Dark Star Aquatics on Facebook. She asked on there, and people were like, hey, there's a Real Fish Talk episode for that. So she did find that. We did talk about it at length. It is a very fantastic aesthetic pieces. They're super fun to build. I would definitely recommend it for a lot of people. For me personally, right now, I don't make them or anymore or anything like that. I don't do the nano aquariums anymore, because I have a limited amount of space in my fish room, and I would like my tanks to be as big as possible and not have to take ultra care of super small stuff. But there is a Facebook group called Aquascaping the World, which that is one of the huge things that shows up in there a lot. I think there's like 20,000, 30,000 members in Aquascaping the World. So you could definitely go in there, find a ton of examples. It's run by a guy named Brian Murphy and a bunch of other like really cool people. So it's a well-moderated group, not a lot of nonsense going on in there. And but you definitely can and will learn about a lot of Wabikusa type stuff. Pamela Earlywine posted up some of her drape fin barbs, which they're fantastic. I'm super kind of jealous that you got them set up, but not much I can do about that right now. But speaking of Pamela Earlywine, she had a question this morning. She saw something weird and globby looking crypt leaf in my 40-gallon breeder. I broke the leaf up and held it up. It was the eggs. Oh, I think I already answered this one. I think I answered this one already. Yeah, I did. Sorry, my bad. The zombie drummer was asking, hey, Fish Fam, I have an established 75 that is ready for some new fish. I have a large blood parrot who isn't so much of a murder machine, but more of a harass to death machine. She lives with 2 Raphael catfish and had full nerites and a few thousand blackworms. pH is high 7s, lots of crushed coral under that sand, and high GH and pretty good KH. I'm thinking of fast schooling fish, maybe dwarf rainbows. I would love to put some type of convicts in there with her, but I'm worried about sourcing ones large enough to hold their own. Any suggestions for either a schooling fish or a bad mamma jamma of a cichlid? Now, I would not be the greatest resource to answer this question. So shout out to anybody who's on my Patreon that's in the community, can maybe come in and get some better examples or some better fish to go in there. But if I did have blood parrots, I wouldn't necessarily put anything else with them. I would continue upping the school of blood parrots, and that's what I would try to do. I would try to essentially just get more of them. That's kind of what I would go for. There's also a lot of sort of Heidi type fish that you could get, like clown plecos or something like that, and would be fairly like a fairly good go-to because they can actually just kind of hang out and, you know, hold their own and hide out when they need to and stuff like that. I can't think of any real schooling fish that would be a great match for these guys, or this one fish that you have here, because the blood parrot, if they are the feisty variety, they generally will just harass everything until they're dead, basically. What do we got here? Master Beta was showing us a picture of his frog, which I have to admit, I'm a little bit jealous of that frog action. Pretty darn fantastic. Oh, gonna make sure I got it in the right spot. There we go. Gavin David Toft wrote in, Pearl gourami. Does anyone have experience with pearl gouramis, cherry shrimp, and just wondering if I get a few, will they start picking off my shrimp colony? It's a relatively well-planted tank, CO2, etc. Many thanks. I love pearl gouramis. I think they're a fantastic fish. They are not great for having with shrimp. They seem like they're slow. They seem like they're a little bit dumb, but they are super predatorial. They are super predatorial and will... so here's the thing. When you see them during the daytime, air quote daytime, when it's light in the tank, they're kind of moving around slow. They're not doing a whole bunch. They don't seem like they're super aggressive or anything like that. But guess what? You know those long feelers on the front and stuff that they have? Those are very useful at night. And they will annihilate your shrimp colony over the evening hours when the shrimp don't really know too much about what's going on, can't see all that well, and don't really know what's happening. It just go slowly work its way through your colony and annihilate a ton of them. That's basically what happened the 3 or 4 times that we tried to have a mixed colony of any kind of shrimp, whether it be Amanos or cherry or anything like that. The gouramis would go buck wild and eat them all at night. So they'd be great during the day. So I guess maybe if you left the lights on 24 hours, I do not recommend doing that. Wouldn't be a great idea, but they are not a good fish to have around shrimp. I just would definitely not recommend it unless you just want to feed them the shrimp. We had a post here from Travis, which is kind of a sad story. I'm gonna run through it real quick. Got a call from you got a call at work from animal control about a house being evicted. They found a fish tank inside with these poor neglected fish. They brought in these 2 Oscars that are literally falling apart. There was a Jack Dempsey, but he was gone by the time we got him, and a Gar, which was the only decent looking one. They were in super acidic water for who knows how long, and I'm sure all the parameters are out of whack. I'm doing everything I can to try and help. I just don't know if they are too far gone. Any ideas? And Nathaniel John wrote in, just try to give them good, clean water, quality food, and pray for the best. Sad to see people mistreat any animals that are in their care. And Travis talked to his boss, and he's letting them take them home and giving each of them a 55-gallon and lots of love. That's going to be the best thing that you're going to be able to pull off here. If you're trying to nurse some family back or nurse some fish back, that's going to be the best way that you'll be able to do it. Is, provide some good food, bring the temperature up a little bit for them, bring the temperature up for them as well as you can. Make sure you're feeding them. Make sure they have really clean water, and that's going to be the best bet. You can also add a little bit of salt, a little bit of Pimafix and Melafix, and that will kind of help to hopefully heal them a little bit. And maybe definitely I would drop some catappa leaves in there with so that you can hopefully drop some tannins in there, and hopefully you're just going to have to nurse them back to health. It's just sort of like it's just sad. It's just sad to see that they've been neglected, but that's going to be the best bet to try and get through to them. All right. Oops. Can I get this so that it's seated correctly in that little window there? I don't know. Maybe. There. We got one from Kelly Peterson, which is actually yesterday. So these were all the questions over the last week in the community, as much as I could get to them today. Here's the last one from Kelly Peterson. Hi everyone. As of Sunday, I'm going to officially be a shrimp keeper, and I'm very excited. I'm excited. This is awesome. I love hearing people getting into shrimp, dude. Shrimp. As you guys know, like, plants are my favorite thing, quickly followed up by shrimp, quickly followed up by fishes and stuff like that. So I'm always super excited when somebody is getting into shrimp. Barbara's asking, I missed it. Where am I reading this from? Actually, reading it from the Patreon page, the community page, which we're kind of running through some of the questions here. I know Barbara has definitely utilized the community page, and I think it's a great addition to being able to communicate with a lot of people and stuff like that. Plus, you can post pictures up there and stuff. I just wanted to highlight that and also answer some of these questions. But Kelly just realized, this back to Kelly Peterson's thing, but I just realized while watching Wednesday's show that I don't know what meds are appropriate for a shrimp quarantine. Any advice? They'll be in a species-only tank with Java moss and micro sword. Well, there aren't a whole lot of quarantine methods that you can really do for shrimp. It's just realistically, there just isn't. So you could medicate them a bunch in a quarantine, but in my experience, I normally just had more problems with trying to medicate the shrimp than benefits. And so I would definitely just use the tank that they're going to go into as sort of the quarantine situation to see what's going on with them, to make sure that they're doing well. They're not showing any signs of fungus or anything crazy like that. And you'll be able to adapt them over to your water pretty easily and get them converted and get them in there. And it'd be pretty much the best way to go about it. Would be that. And somebody said we were up to 180, 200 live viewers. We're at 190 right now, so I have to do the don't forget to share this and hit the like button and subscribe and blah, 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 blah. I hate saying it. Let's see here. Try to get to answer a couple of questions. All right. Hopefully I answered that pretty well. We can remove that. We can go back to the regular chat. We can actually start talking about maybe getting to the video segment at some point. The video segment's sort of nonsense today. It's not very good. Fish Girl from Connecticut was saying clean water and time. Yes, for sure. That's going to be the best thing to do. Savannah Morrow says very introverted, not interested. I have to take the train and 2 buses in areas I don't know. I'm very introverted and never really go anywhere alone, but I'm going to get myself there. Oh, trying to catch up with... Oh, okay. So cool. Oh, they're talking about the meetup on Sunday. So... Dan was asking, I usually don't see a lot of Danios in tanks on YouTube. Is it because they aren't as sexy as Tetras? I see a lot of Danios, but Danios don't come in very well from wholesalers except for certain times of the year. So that's one of the big issues that they have with celestial pearl Danios, whatever you want to call them. They only come in at certain times of the year, realistically. So that's probably one of the things. And I know a lot of people are sort of beholden of like what's at the store, I guess, is kind of their biggest obstacle as to like getting stuff in. And I mean, I even noticed like the biggest fish YouTuber like around was just going to his store, I guess. He was just going to a store to see what they had for sale. And I was like, it seems odd that he wouldn't be getting like stuff shipped in or anything specialty or anything like that. But, I don't know, to each his own. And what I've noticed is most people like go to a store. So that's probably one of the biggest things, is that the wholesalers don't send out a ton. And so that'll probably be the biggest thing. The Schwisky says, road crew, unite. Oh, JH Aquatics got in his Rode mic today. Oh, nice. Yeah, everyone out there should definitely get a Rode mic if you can. Howie9, asking, what meds do you use to quarantine your saltwater fish? I've used copper, depending on the species, prazi, and antibiotic. I use prazi and antibiotic and tea tree oil. Those are the 3 that I use to quarantine my saltwater fish when I get them in, or if they've been quarantined ahead of time, because sometimes you kind of get lucky depending on what stores you go to. Sometimes stuff will get dropped in at the store, and they'll actually handle the quarantine for you. You got to be pretty lucky, though. You got to be pretty lucky if your local store is going to do that for you. And then if I do bring those fish home, I'll actually just put them through a freshwater bath and like a freshwater dip before they actually go into my tank, in case they have something on you. That's gonna open up a lot, or that's gonna be kind of the 2 ways to do it. That's how I go about it. Ed's Fish says there's going to be a video by the co-op released after this. Oh, man. Oh, cool. He's releasing the review video for the 3.0 after this show is over. Well, that's lame, because I'm not in that video. It'd be much cooler if I was in the 3.0 video. Or maybe I am, and I don't know it. No, I doubt it. I don't think so. I would probably remember that. Let's see. It's Spadoinkle says, is there anything I can feed my red cherry shrimp that my guppies and bristlenose plecos won't eat, so I can round up and cull some scrimps? Yes. Our guy, Steven Skoglund, actually sent me out some Shrimp King pellets, and I am super happy with the Shrimp King pellet, the complete ones. I am super happy with those. They are working out very, very well, and definitely enjoying those the Shrimp King pellets. They're working fantastically. They're doing a great job. And that's what I would recommend if you got to get some culls out of there and stuff, because you can drop them towards the front of the glass, and that's going to be the best spot for them. Or that's going to be your best bet. And they sink really well. They sink right down to the bottom of the tank. Let's see. Robbie Rosenbaum, my question, my beta is a 5-gallon, has ick. I've been treating him for 2 days now. Usually, how long does it take for him to start getting better? And usually stays at the bottom of the filter. It's going to take you probably 2 weeks to get through ick, honestly. It's going to take quite a while. So one of the things that most people don't realize with ick is the only time that you can really do anything to the ick is when it releases from the fish and when it's free floating form. So it's like when it's in that kind of larval stage, that's when your medications are going to hammer it and get rid of it. Because ick is always around. It just never really develops into something until it has like an opportunistic or a opportunity to grab onto a host, which would be your fish. So that it's going to take a while. I would just have some patience. It's going to take quite a while because you can't really do much to it while it's still attached to the fish. You can't really get rid of it. Sky Star says, I use heat without salt to treat ick. Yeah, oftentimes the heat will speed up the metabolism of the ick, and also the warm water will actually kill the parasite a lot of times. If you can get it warm enough in your tank, and your fish will be all right. With a beta, it's actually pretty easy because the betas can handle, they can handle that warm temperature, and even if the warm temperature of the water drops the oxygen down a lot, they can use their labyrinth gill and breathe air. So they'll actually be pretty good. Let's see. Let's go to the video segment real quick. This is just some of the stuff that I was working on today. And let's see if this works properly. Oh, no, it's doing it again. It's not playing. What was it that I have to do? There's a thing that I have to do here. Media. Oh, there it is. There we go. That's what I have to do. I have to change the sound settings, just like when I start the stream and I don't have the sound on, you know. So we got through the Patreon questions, we got through some of the chat questions, we got through the super chat questions. Let's get through the video portion here. This first little part here, I'm going to do a much more comprehensive video on changing this deionization media here. But I did want to give you guys, the people that tune in for the live stream, a little preview of, it's not the most difficult thing in the world to change this deionization media, but it is a little bit of a pain in the butt to get it packed in there properly. This deionization is the third stage of my filter. It's the last little line of defense that basically picks up anything left over in my water before I go adding water into my reef. I don't think a roadie or a filter like this is really useful on my planted tanks with the water that we have here. The water I have here in Western Washington is pretty awesome, so I don't really have to I don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything ridiculous to the water here for my planted aquariums, other than just a basic micron filter and a little bit of charcoal filtration. And I know that somebody was asking earlier. I think it was CNH Aquatics was asking what happened to the Patreon video. I don't know. I think the file got moved and I can't find it, so it's doesn't play anymore because I can't find the file that plays the video. But I do need to redo the video anyhow because we have a lot of new Patreons that need to get a shout out for sure. So I'll be getting on that hopefully over this weekend. I keep making promises to get that video done and it just ends up hitting the back burner, and I'm really sorry about that. It doesn't feel that great, you know. It doesn't feel that great when it keeps hitting the back burner. But the deionization media is very useful for my reef. It will essentially give you a 0 TDS. It'll basically give you a 0 on your TDS meter, which is fantastic for reef water. I'm not a huge fan of remineralizing water for shrimp and stuff like that. I keep getting questions about it because I know that a lot of people are posting videos about using roadie water and remineralizing for like crystal shrimp or any of that kind of stuff. And I know recently somebody was asking me what would be the best advice for setting up like a crystal shrimp tank or something along those lines. And hopefully they're here watching the show right now, and I'm not talking to a dead wall, but they were wondering what to do with like shrimp stratum or ADA Amazonia, or even I believe Oliver Knott's new substrate that has been released in the States just the other day. They all do release a little bit of ammonia and some buffering capacity and stuff like that in the first couple weeks. And they're asking, what's the best thing to do for a crystal shrimp tank? And the best thing to do with a crystal shrimp tank would be to just set up a heavily planted aquarium and let it run for like a year, 6 months at least. Let it get like just a fully established system, and you're not going to be stressing out that much. But one of the big reasons a lot of people use a RO-DI unit and remineralize their water like that is because of substrates and things along those lines. If sorry, I just read Bert's comment, and I'm going to answer that in just a second. But people are remineralizing their water and stuff like that because they're trying to do brand new aquariums and put crystal shrimp in them. I would always recommend to anybody out there, if you're getting into crystal shrimp, if you're getting into some real high-end shrimp, like maybe some pistol or some Some pistols. What? Not pistols. What's wrong with my words today, you guys? Maybe some pintos, or maybe some Taiwan bees, or something, or whatever you're gonna get into. Some high end. If you're getting into some high end shrimp, the best thing I could recommend is to get a nice planted aquarium, get it fully established and grown in, and know the system, know what's going on with it. Just until you get it to a point, essentially, where you really don't have to mess with this tank very much. And the plants are growing, things need trimming, and you need a little bit of water changes and stuff like that. And that's going to be the best bet. That's where you're going to find the best success, in my experience, in my opinion. All right, so I know some people are pretty excited about the 60-gallon getting set up. I am too. We did have a bit of a snafu here today with Vicky being sick and stuff like that. So I only got this partially planted, and with the layout and all that kind of stuff, there have been some mild intricacies that need to be accommodated for, and getting everything staged for the 150-gallon that's getting rescaped with the Sierra stone. That is going to be a big deal. And so here's a little video while I answer some of the questions in the chat of getting some scaping done, getting some plants put in. What plant we're planting today is Crypt Lutea. I threw it in the chat right there just in case anyone's questioning. Sky Star says, is asking, do you get migraines? When I have one coming on, my words get all mixed up. Yes, I do get migraines. Part of it's from tinnitus in my ear, and I typically will get ocular migraines is the ones that I get. But I absolutely refuse to lay down and give in to it. So I just am normally in a lot of pain and kind of cranky. Which might not be the way to go about it. I'm getting older, and that just seems like a waste of time. I should probably just lay down in the dark for a little bit. All right, so Bert Shackelford says, the painting finally arrived today. United States Postal Service damaged the box, which is why we suspected it was delayed for so long. However, the painting appears safely intact. She's gorgeous, and we love her. All right. I was really wondering what was going on because that painting was supposed to be there on Monday, and it is Friday. And I'll admit, like, no communication was... I was starting to wonder what was going on, like, if they just didn't like it. Because if they didn't like that painting... but I'm glad it got there, and it survived, and it didn't... get ruined or anything like that. I'm sad to hear that the post office was doing whatever the heck they were doing. Totally weird. Loops LA was asking if I'm running a UV sterilizer on my reef. Nope, I am not. I don't like... we actually talked about UV sterilizers the other day. I don't like how they allow me to ignore things that are going on. I don't want to be ignoring things that the UV sterilizer would be potentially causing me to ignore. All right. But Bert says, thanks for the concern. We're getting very anxious and worried too. Yeah, I was literally going to send an email out after this show and be like, what? What is going on? But I'm glad to hear that it's there, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are stoked. I thought that was a pretty cool portrait that they got. I was surprised it never sold at a show. I was expecting it to, but it didn't. So lucky for Bert and Judy, I believe. Wait, did I get that wrong? I think I got that right. Judith. Yeah, Judy. Yeah, Bert and Judy. Super awesome. I'm glad that painting found a new home and worked out well. I'm stoked. I'm sad that the box got ruined because the box was beautiful. Just Bob was asking, do you have a tip on what to do with giant Valsneria or jungle Val from overgrowing the tank? Can you clip the leaves? Yes, you can actually just cut the leaves at the height that you want them to be. Just make sure you use really sharp scissors. That's really the only recommendation I can tell you. Get some super, super sharp shears, like, you know, just sharp scissors. You know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. I would check that out for sure. 54 Punchy says you need to eat duckweed, KG. It will even your digestive system out. All right. Let's see here. Barbara Jackson says, oh, I used to get ocular migraines years ago, but without the pain. It was like my own personal kaleidoscope show. Sorry you get the pain with yours, Joel. Yeah, it's 50-50. Sometimes I don't have any pain, and sometimes I just have all this crazy nonsense going on in my vision, and I just have to figure it out. I have to figure out how to keep doing stuff. It's super weird, but I don't know. It's probably got something to do with my past and making bad decisions and that kind of stuff, but not much I can do about it now except deal with it, you know, and keep on rocking. You know what I mean? Loops LA is asking what protein skimmer you like, Joel. I like Bubble Magus. I like the Bubble Magus. The one I have, the company doesn't exist anymore. The protein skimmer that I use on my reef, that company does not exist anymore, and I wish I could figure out who picked up the patent. I bet somebody did, but Bubble Magus is probably the one I would go with if I was going to buy a new one. That's definitely where I would go. Bentley Pascal says, I used my last batch and friction fit them all into some large chunks of cholla wood. Looks amazing now as they're all grown in. Wait, what's going on here? Just keep letting them growing. Let's see here. What was Bentley talking about? Oh, your Windalove is propagating new plants. Oh, okay. He's talking to Savannah. All right. So they're talking about Windalove, which is awesome. Go with some Windalove whenever you can. I'm super excited about this hostifolia that I got coming. Well, I have it. I can't wait to put the hostifolia in. I'm excited. I have to do a little bit of work for that hostifolia, you guys. I smashed my finger moving around some stuff in trade. So I'm excited for that because I like that. I had completely forgotten about that Anubias varietal. It is amazing, and I'm pretty stoked. Let's see. Bert says, Judy has a rule. She's not to be featured anywhere around water. That includes the tanks. That's pretty smart for your paintings. Keep them out of the water. Oh, and a lot of people saying thank you to Thomas Fehrenbach for the $20 super chat. Going big on a Friday. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. His question is, I was just wanting to hear your opinion on Miracle Mud if you have one. Thinking about putting it in my reef, and I'm sorry I scare everyone out of the stream when I get you to talk about reef stuff. I don't know. We have lots of reef people. And just remember, a lot of the saltwater stuff that we talk about actually is kind of parallel that you can bring into freshwater things. It's like, testing for ammonia pretty much came from the reef people, like the reef guys that were trying to save the big end stuff. A lot of the things, a lot of the systems that I use actually have to do with, stuff I learned from reefing and things like that, because I try to take the equipment and the knowledge and things like that from the reef community, because they put so much money into the development and all that kind of stuff. I try to bring that equipment over. Let's not kid ourselves in the fact that like Fluval has the 3.0 fresh and plant light that just came out. And the reef LEDs, there are some out there that have already been around for like 10, 12 years, right? In the reef community. There are a lot. I think I was looking at Ecotech lights the other day, and they're on version like 20 or something crazy, right? So I'm very appreciative of the stuff that goes on in the reefing stuff, and I know that a lot of people are priced out from doing reefs that are in freshwater. I would just bear in mind that most everybody that does freshwater, especially a planted aquarium or like a shrimp aquarium or something like that, could easily transition to doing like, a small reef tank at some point in time. It wouldn't be that big of a stretch because of the stuff that people already know. Scottish Aquatics asking, what's this about the Fluval 3.0? That came out today, and Aquarium Co-op is jumping on my stream here, trying to steal all my fans, which hopefully all of our fans are all the same anyhow, so it's just a joke. Nobody be tripping. And he'll be releasing a review video right after this stream, so that's going to be pretty cool, and you'll be able to check out that 3.0. But back to Thomas's question here. He wanted to know my opinion on Miracle Mud. My opinion on Miracle Mud is didn't work for me. As many times as I tried to do either a deep sand bed or Miracle Mud in my sump and have a chamber for it, it just, every time it turned into some kind of disaster chaos situation. And I am friends with a lot of people that pull it off big time in like a really honest, like cool way. And I'm jealous of their ability to pull it off, and I can't figure out what it was that I ever did wrong with it. But I knew that, I gotta just stop messing with this because it just ain't working for me. And so that's why I ended up walking away from it. If you're somebody that can pull it off, it can be hugely beneficial for your situation. Could be hugely beneficial for your situation, and it could work out really, really well. But for me, it was always a disaster, and it just didn't go all that well. An easy accommodation that I found to work fairly well in the past, and I do plan on going this route again in the future, was actually building a small chamber down low and growing some, and I almost said manzanita. That's not right. It's not. Mangrove is what I said manzanita in my head, and that's not the right plant. Mangroves. I was going to do some cool mangroves in the sump, and I'll be doing those again sometime in the future. It's just a matter of being able to source them. So that's the route that I went and worked out, and I was actually just using some of the coarse sand and on top of like the aragonite crushed coral substrate, and that actually worked out fairly well. So that would be the way I would go instead of trying to do the Miracle Mud, because it just never really worked out all that great for me. Whew. You know what I mean? So hopefully that answers your question to some kind of degree. I really appreciate the super chat. I appreciate everybody's super chats, but a $20, man, that's generous. Thank you very much, man. Jeff Rose Fish Keeping with the $2 super chat. What format do you render your video to play on OBS? I actually use XSplit, not OBS, and I pay for the license, so it actually works pretty darn well. I'm pretty happy for it, and they let you do it on multiple computers and stuff like that. I'm pretty happy with XSplit because it gets what's the word? It gets updates all the time. So things get fixed that are broken. Things that don't work normally get released, like they'll release an update or a new app or something along those lines that you can download for free to plug those in, plugins, all that kind of stuff. So I actually use XSplit. OBS is fairly similar, but what you'd want to render out to is just rendered directly to what is it? 1920 by 1080 at 30p is what you want your playback to be. Once it's fully rendered into MP4 format is the way that you want it to work. It'll actually work pretty darn well for playback, because MP4 is pretty much the easiest thing for the computer to play back while you're streaming. So it actually doesn't really add any kind of load to the stream. Hopefully that explains it. It's sort of like it takes my CPU from 27% up to like 31%. So it only adds an extra like 4% on the load if I'm playing it back in MP4. Candy Overhauls has a reef. I love it when Joel talks salty. That's right, we like to talk salty. And then people go hashtag salty Joel, and then I'm like, was I pissed? Was I pissed about something? Was I tripping? I don't think of the reef part. Let's see. At Candy Overhauls, talking salty will get him demonetized. It's not a big deal, because we have stuff like the Patreon with GetFace. GetFace just pledged a $1 on the Patreon today during the show. Awesome. And then we have 2 new subscribers during the show, Mr. D and Wico Velasquez. Hopefully I said your first name right. Wico Velasquez. Sorry, Velasquez. What? Velasquez. Which is dope. Thank you very much, guys. Oh, and Aqua Pros loved my comment during the show. Oh. Well, thank you, Aqua Pros, wherever you are, as Shakespeare man. Who was it that was asking? Somebody was asking they were in Marysville. We should definitely check out each other's tanks. I'm in Tacoma. Who was asking that? That was somebody. Somebody was asking that. Where'd that go? I don't know. But if you do want to schedule any kind of meetups, like maybe fish room tours or any of that kind of crazy stuff, feel free to either email me, joel@darkstararts.com, or The Real Fish Talk. You can email them, or sorry, the editor at Aquarium Co-op, and you'll be able to maybe we could schedule something out. Maybe we could schedule a meetup. Maybe we can schedule a room tour or something like that. Scottish. Oh, there it is. Scottish Aquatics. That was you. You're in Marysville. Carson Anderson is in Arlington. Yeah. So if somebody really wanted to do a meetup or something along those lines, you could send out like an email with some pictures or something. If you have one fish tank in a room, I don't know, it'd be kind of odd to drive over for a tour, if you know what I mean. Not to criticize anybody's one tank situation, but it'd be kind of weird to come over and do a tour if you just had like a tiny, I got a 20 gallon, Michael Moncoeur is going to bed. Good night. It's still early for me. It's almost 5 o'clock. Means I gotta get more work done, which is gonna be exciting. Let's see here. Kelvin is actually what I put. What's going on? Kelvin? Wait, what? Somebody's asking about Kelvin stuff. I didn't mean that Corey took too long. I meant that, thanks, Corey, I was able to make what I considered to be a truly informed decision. Oh. Let's see. Mammoth Cub has got to go because you're going to watch the Olympic opening ceremony. Oh. Exciting. Exciting for the Winter Olympics. I have no clue if it's brackish or freshwater. Oh, here we go. All About DIY was asking, hey, Joel, I don't think I saw your question on your last video, but what Kelvin rating are the GU10 bulbs you used on your old setup at the old house? Actually, the GU10 bulbs, I use them on my sump area. So the plants and stuff that I hold and grow and down in my sump, their GU10s are being used for that right now. And those ones are 6,000K, so they're not exactly optimal, but they're pretty darn close. So they work all right. I would say that they're pretty darn serviceable, but they're not fantastic unless they're the fully enclosed ones in that kind of moist area. you know, the moist area underneath in an aquarium where it's quite moist under there, is their downfall. But considering if you have one burn out every 6 months or something like that, and it's only like $2.50 to like replace it, not that big of a deal, because if you order a 10 or a 20 pack of them, you're probably going to have some extra ones. I'm still happy with how they work, especially because of the cost, and to be able to build them into a space. It's like, you know, if they're $250 and you bought 10 of them, you could buy 20 of them for $50, and that would definitely cover quite a bit. So you'd have to do a little bit of work. But as I said, in that moist area underneath the aquarium, they do have a tendency to short out, essentially, if you don't get the fully encapsulated ones, because that water will get in there and cause a problem. Fish Girl from Connecticut. Hi, Joel. Got my first plant order in today, but I'm not able to plant them in my new tank until late tomorrow. I've placed the plants loose in a tub of clean chlorinated water. Will they be okay? Yeah, I would almost guarantee that those plants would be fine. Oh, and hold on. Let's go to the video here real quick. So you can actually see here at the beginning of the video, you notice that hold on, pause. And engage the whiteboard. Check this out. Douche. So there is the Crypt lutea is actually right here in these pots. And then, oh, hold on, let me give him some eyes. Arrgh. Is he happy? Is he happy? Oh, he looks a little odd. Okay, so in those pots right there, let's give him some action lines. Oh, he's intense. He's intense and moving fast. So you see those pots there? They're actually just floating. Just dropped them into the tank and just hold them there. It's not going to be that big of a deal. I have held plants for weeks and weeks in buckets. I don't recommend weeks and weeks, but a couple of overnight or like 2 days or something like that is really not going to be that big of a deal unless it's like super cold, so whatever room it's in, if it's like super cold in there, that could be a problem. Or if it's super hot in there, then that could also be a problem too. Let's see here. The Zombie Drummer with a $2 super chat. Thank you, my man. And people getting mad that I said moist. It's a word. Debbie Swan says, love you, Joel, but Olympics opening ceremony. Oh, a bunch of people very excited for the Winter Olympics, and that's cool, man. You got to do what you got to do. I don't hating on the Olympics. Corey just released the Fluval 3.0 review video. Oh, that means it must be 5 o'clock. That thing is obviously automatic. And one girl for tanks, very sorry about offending you with my word choice. And don't despair. Don't despair. My apologies, and hopefully everyone is going to have a fantastic weekend, because it's after 5 o'clock here, and that means I have obligations to get to. So I'm going to go to that stuff. I'm going to get that stuff going. And we're going to put the hammer down. We got to make some more... we're going to make some more videos. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. Sunday, we shall be in Portland, rocking and rolling, talking about fish, doing all that kinds of stuff. Hopefully Vicky feels better by then. I hope she's feeling better. I hear her kind of walking around back there. Maybe the chicken soup I got for her is making her perked up a little bit. So we'll see how she's going. And I definitely have to take care of my lady, so I certainly have to go do that. But hopefully everybody out there has a fantastic weekend. And we'll see you back here Monday, 3 o'clock for the live stream. Hopefully I can get a video out to you guys over the weekend. I don't know. Throw a comment on this video after it uploads if there's a specific video you want to see, man. Let me know. Holla at your boy. All right, everybody. Later.